Hello everyone, welcome back to the course on Securing Applications on Cloud. So this section is about cloud platform and infrastructure security. In this section, we are going to take a look at analyze the risk associated to cloud infrastructure, network and virtualization security, infrastructure security testing, and network VAPT. So moving on with the first video of section, that is analyze risk associated to cloud infrastructure. In this video, we are going to take a look at an overview of cloud infrastructure, how security changes with cloud networking, the shared responsibility of cloud security, cloud compute and workload security, and other threats to cloud computing. Infrastructure security is the foundation for operating securely in the cloud. In cloud computing, there are two macro layers to infrastructure: the fundamental resources pooled together to create a cloud, which is completely managed by the cloud service provider, and the virtual or the abstracted infrastructure, partially managed by the cloud provider and by the cloud user. All clouds utilize some form of virtual networking to abstract the physical network and create a network resource pool. Now, how security changes with cloud networking? Since cloud is mostly about the virtual network, so the common network practices changes for the cloud user and the provider due to the lack of direct management of underlying physical network. In the case of on-premise environment, the network security relies on controlling the physical communications and inserting the security appliances. So that's the difference between the cloud network and the on-premise network. In the case of cloud, it's different as everything works on the virtual level. Now, talking about the shared responsibility of the cloud security. So the cloud security responsibility falls on both the cloud service provider and the cloud user. Now, if you see this diagram, you can see that we have the infrastructure services running in the bottom layer, which consists of the compute, storage, database, and the network. So this is completely managed by the cloud service provider. On top of that, we have the network layer, again mostly managed by the cloud service provider, and then top of that we have the virtual machines. So this is which will be provided to different cloud users. Now the virtual machines creations and the initial configurations, those security parameters falls under the cloud service provider. Once the machine is handed over to the user, then whatever configuration is being done, those falls under the cloud user. So the security of the virtual machines is the shared responsibility for the cloud service provider and the cloud user. Then on top of that we have the application layer. Again, if the cloud service provider is providing the SaaS service, then the application security completely falls under the cloud service provider. However, if the user is uploading their own applications on the virtual machines, then the user is responsible for the application security. However, many things falls under the cloud service provider also as a bottom layer. So the cloud security is the shared responsibility for both the cloud service providers and the cloud users. When we talk about cloud compute and workload security, then the immutable workloads enable the security. Now, immutable workloads are basically the instances of the virtual machines that can be run from the images. So instead of creating new virtual machine again and again for every user, what cloud service providers do is they create a base image with the patches and the basic configurations done. Whenever they want a new instance, they can just directly boot it from that image. Now, since we're talking about immutable workloads, so you no longer patch the running systems or worry about the dependencies, as everything is being taken care of when the image is being created. And the most security testings can also be managed during the image creation. The changes to workload security monitoring and logging. In cloud computing, you need to collect some other unique identifiers in the logs apart from the IP addresses to be assured you know what the log entries actually refer to. Now, since it's the virtual network, so just capturing the IP address is not enough, as the IP address may be common for all the virtual instances running. So it's essential to capture other identifiers also, which may help in the analysis of the logs. The changes of vulnerability assessment. The cloud owner will typically require notification of assessments. So many of the cloud service provider would require that if the user wants to conduct a vulnerability assessment on their applications or their machines, they first need to notify the cloud service provider. The assessments can be run during the image creation also by the cloud service provider for immutable workloads. So you can see like how the cloud compute and the workload security are changed now. There are other threats also to cloud computing, like the control of data. The data that we upload on the cloud may be available to more people than we want, and the security is managed elsewhere. So we are putting a trust on the third party for our data, since the underlying security is completely being managed by the cloud service provider. So whatever data we are uploading we are uploading it on the sole trust of the cloud service provider. The server unavailability or cloud account lockout. Now, as servers are somewhere else, if it becomes unavailable for some reason or the account gets unlocked, we do not have much control. We are completely dependent on the cloud service provider to get the server back again. Virtualization. If the virtualization layer is compromised, it puts all systems at risk. So the security on the virtualization layer needs to be in place properly. So in this video, we analyze the risk associated to cloud infrastructure, and the next video will discuss about the network and virtualization security. So hope to see you there in the next video. Thank you.